where today we're diving into the mysterious and fascinating world of the Amish. If you've ever crossed paths with this tight-knit community, you may have noticed their unique way of life. But what lies beneath the surface is even more intriguing. Did you know that many Amish women undergo the practice of getting their teeth removed, a decision steeped in practicality and communal norms rather than necessity? From the simplicity of their weddings to their unconventional approach to healthcare and technology, the Amish have created a culture that's as captivating as it is enigmatic. Today, we'll uncover the surprising reasons behind these practices, explore their values, and share astonishing insights about a community that thrives on its steadfast commitment to tradition amidst an ever-modernizing world. Get ready to be amazed as we pull back the curtain on the lives of Amish women and their extraordinary customs. What is it with Amish people and electricity? There are times when Amish people do use power, but that's only sometimes the case. Even though they don't use technology, they use power sometimes, like in an emergency. They don't accept technology for a specific reason related to their beliefs about God. This is rooted in the principle of Gassenheit, a German word that means the community should use the land the way God intended. The Amish let people have cell phones in their barns because they need them, but they can't be used in their houses. Amish men shun mustaches but grow long beards for an interesting reason. When you look at pictures of Amish men, you'll probably notice that most of them have long beards but clean-shaven faces. Mustaches were seen as a sign of wealth or military service in the 1800s, when this custom began. However, the Amish believe that mustaches are not appropriate for their community. The Amish don't cut their hair because they think that's how God wants them to look. They cut off their mustache because they didn't like what it stood for or how trendy it was at the time. Men sometimes shave their beards short, but most of the time, they let them grow long. Those who are not Amish are considered something else. The Amish have a history that goes back to when they first came to the United States. They call everyone who isn't Amish English, no matter their race or culture. They started using this term because they didn't have a word for foreigners and considered themselves American like everyone else. Since their outsider neighbors spoke English, they began calling them that, and the name stuck. The Amish don't like to break traditions, so they still call people from other groups English. Teens are not considered Amish until they are baptized. Teenagers can be blessed and accepted as part of Amish society after they return from their Rumspringa, a period of exploration that can last for weeks or even years until they decide whether the outside world is right for them. There is no age limit for baptism, and people can always return to the community later. For many teens, leaving their neighborhood and entering the English world is a big shock. They aren't used to the rules of modern society because they have never been exposed to much technology. This often makes them miss the simplicity of their old towns, prompting them to return quickly. However, some teens never come back because they enjoy the freedom of life outside the Amish community. The Amish do not take pictures unless someone from outside the community does it for them. No one in an Amish village has a Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter account. They don't use electricity or smartphones, and don't even take selfies with each other. They won't even allow painted portraits, despite the lack of technology involved. In Amish culture, owning pictures of people, even family members, is forbidden because they consider such images to be graven images. When an Amish person dies, there are no photographs to remember them by, only memories. Women have very specific roles in Amish society. From a young age, girls learn how to sew, cook, maintain a household, and care for children. After school, they stay home to help their mothers with domestic chores, as Amish women are expected to prioritize family care. Women are not allowed to assume leadership roles in their communities or make significant decisions independently. While outsiders may find this gender dynamic restrictive, for Amish women, it's the only way of life they know. Once married, their husbands become the heads of their households, and the women assist with domestic responsibilities. The Amish follow a strict set of rules that everyone must learn. These rules are documented in a book called the Ordnung, which every community member is expected to study and obey. The Ordnung outlines the appropriate dress code, rules for children, acceptable uses of technology, and even the proper design of horse-drawn buggies. The community expects strict adherence to these guidelines to maintain the Amish way of life. Consequences for breaking these rules can vary. Amishing, or temporary shunning, is a common disciplinary action where the offender is socially ostracized for a period while continuing to live in the community. Excommunication, however, is a more severe punishment, resulting in complete exclusion from Amish society. This punishment may last for months or even indefinitely, depending on the nature of the transgression. The Amish believe such measures help offenders recognize their mistakes, repent, and return to a righteous path. Religion plays a central role in Amish life. They prioritize faith over scientific advancements, which is why practices like DNA testing are prohibited. Marriages within Amish communities sometimes result in genetic issues due to limited partner options. The Amish accept these occurrences as part of God's plan. The rite of passage known as Rumspringa allows Amish teens to explore the outside world and decide whether they want to commit to their community. This period can last from a week to several years. The goal is to give the youth first-hand experience with modern life so they can make an informed decision about their future. Many return to the community, while others choose to stay in the outside world. Amish couples have unique wedding customs. Before marriage, a couple may share a bed for one night without touching, a practice intended to foster emotional intimacy. After the wedding ceremony, the newlyweds spend their first night at the bride's parents' home and clean the house the next day as a gesture of gratitude. The couple then visits extended family members before finally settling into their own home. Despite their aversion to modern technology, the Amish sometimes use cars when necessary, such as hiring non-Amish drivers for business purposes. However, owning or driving a car is strictly prohibited, as vehicles are associated with wealth and modernity. The Amish believe that faith compatibility is essential for marriage. Both partners must be baptized members of the Amish church and share the same religious convictions. Dating occurs in public settings to maintain modesty and avoid temptation. Amish children's toys reflect the community's values. Dolls, for example, are handmade without facial features to teach children that a person's appearance is irrelevant. Everyone is equally valued in God's eyes. The Amish reject formal government structures, relying on their church to maintain order. They adhere strictly to biblical principles and distrust secular authorities. However, in cases of severe crimes, they cooperate with law enforcement. Ultimately, Amish society remains steadfast in its traditional values despite the world's rapid modernization. Their commitment to simplicity, community, and faith continues to shape their distinctive way of life. The most well-known language among the Amish is German, as they brought many German customs with them when they settled in the 1700s, including the language. German is spoken at all church events. British English and Pennsylvanian Dutch are the other two languages used in the community. The newcomers prioritized learning English so they could communicate with the Europeans who had already moved to North America. Pennsylvanian Dutch is a form of German that the Amish adopted to discuss everyday matters. Unlike many faith groups that believe in baptizing babies, the Amish do not follow this practice. They believe that individuals should choose to become Amish when they are mature enough to make such a decision. Therefore, baptisms usually occur between the ages of 16 and 24, when young people are considered capable of making a conscious, informed choice. Marriage among the Amish requires a church blessing. The church, not the parents, must approve the union. After a couple starts dating, the man typically proposes, but the engagement can only proceed if the church agrees. If the church disapproves, the marriage cannot take place. Once the church grants its blessing, the announcement is printed in the town paper, and the wedding follows soon after. The term, Amish, originates from Jacob Ammon, a Swiss Baptist who is regarded as the most significant figure for the Amish. Ammon left the Mennonites to form his own church for those who wished to live simpler lives. Around 1720, his followers moved to Pennsylvania, Ohio, and other Midwestern states, where they established thriving villages. Their straightforward lifestyle has since drawn public interest. Amish weddings are simple and modest. The bride wears a plain blue dress and a hat, without any jewelry or makeup. The groom does not present her with a diamond ring, as jewelry is seen as a sign of vanity. Amish marriages are based on love, not material possessions. Amish honeymoon traditions differ significantly from mainstream practices. The newlyweds spend their vacation visiting relatives, often staying with the bride's parents on the first night. Since Amish homes are communal, the couple may live with their parents until they can establish their own household. Community and shared experiences are highly valued in Amish life. Community support is a cornerstone of Amish culture. Neighbors come together to build barns, host communal potlucks, and assist each other in times of need. Medical expenses can be burdensome, but the community collectively helps cover costs. Barn-raising events are a long-standing tradition where entire families participate in constructing barns by hand, using no electricity or power tools. People often confuse the Amish with the Mennonites, though their lifestyles differ significantly. While the Amish strictly avoid modern technology, the Mennonites embrace more contemporary practices. The Amish also follow strict dress codes outlined in the Ordnung. Bright colors, tight clothing, hoodies, and jackets are prohibited. Men must wear specific styles of hats, excluding Western cowboy hats, while women must dress modestly with a bib or ruffle around the neck. Formal education for Amish children ends after 8th grade. Girls learn housekeeping skills like cooking, sewing, and knitting, preparing for their roles as wives and mothers. Boys choose a trade to pursue. Practical, hands-on learning is prioritized over academic study, as Amish life revolves around manual labor and community contributions. Unlike many religious communities, the Amish do not have designated church buildings. They prefer to hold prayer gatherings in homes, barns, or even outdoors. Their faith is deeply rooted in simplicity and humility. They live according to Romans 8 verse 12, which advises against conforming to worldly norms. Although the Amish reject most modern technology, they accept modern medicine. In emergencies, they visit doctors and hospitals without hesitation. Natural remedies are often preferred, but they do not oppose necessary medical treatments. However, they reject birth control, believing that large families are a blessing. The Amish population in the United States exceeds 325,000 and continues to grow. They are present in 31 states, with a growing presence in the West. This population is divided into Old Order Amish, who adhere strictly to traditional practices, and New Order Amish, who are more open to modern ideas. Inheritance practices among the Amish are unusual compared to other cultures. Instead of passing wealth to the eldest son, Amish parents leave their estate to the youngest child, believing that older siblings should already have established themselves by the time of their parents' passing. Music is largely prohibited within Amish communities, as it is seen as a potential source of pride. However, they do sing religious hymns from a German book called Osbund, one of the oldest songbooks still in use today. These songs are passed down orally, preserving the melodies across generations. Amish wedding dresses are uniquely practical. Brides sew their own blue dresses, which they wear to church every Sunday after the wedding. This same dress will later serve as their burial garment. Practicality and simplicity are deeply ingrained in Amish culture. Amish shopping habits also reflect their self-sufficient lifestyle. Most necessities are produced within the community, through farming and craftsmanship. However, there is one store where they can purchase items like paper and candles, things they cannot make themselves. The Amish live in isolation from mainstream society, following traditions that emphasize simplicity, humility, and faith. Their growing population and steadfast customs continue to intrigue outsiders who admire their distinctive way of life.